Yeah, everyone, we're going to start with Coach Canham. When you're ready, please ask me the first question.
Hey, Mitch, I guess just after a really long, chaotic year, how nice is it just to have a start date in sight and be ready to play some ball again?
Yep, I'm glad you turned your camera on too, so I'm not the only one on the hot seat. So if anyone asks questions, you have to turn your camera on, including you, Hank. Honestly, the buildup has been so long, just waiting, for the guys to get back out there and compete. You can see it in their preparation, how much excitement has been rolling through with each and every one of them, wanting to go out there and put on the Beaver uniform, not just in a practice setting, but compete against somebody else. The 14 games we got in last year, there's just been so much of that time right now where guys have been, you got one of two options. You either go high and get frustrated and don't move forward, or you got the opportunity ahead of you to get better, and they've done a fantastic job with that. So, less than 3 weeks in right now, guys are beyond excited, and you can tell, like, they just, every day, I feel it each night when I go to bed too, kind of the butterflies of just the excitement to get back out there on the field and watch these guys compete. So, right now it's brushing up on the little things and the education piece with staying healthy throughout the season, not only physically with COVID and our body, but mentally, socially, and emotionally ready to go out there and compete.
Coach, how have the COVID protocols changed your guys' preparation, if any?
I think we try to do as much on our end as a staff and with our managers as possible, so that it's almost seamless for the guys when they're out there on the field. That it's not a lot extra noise for them. Really be staying diligent with our testing. Number one, if anything ever comes up, being able to catch it right away. When we're on the field, we've been wearing masks, especially in the clubhouse, but making sure that the transition of when we show up to the field and getting outside is quick. The thing is like culture in clubhouse. It's a very valuable thing. It gets guys together. You get to know each other. You get to share meals. Well, a lot of it right now, we're not promoting that part of it. I love sitting down over at the table and sharing a sandwich and talking about life off the field. That's how you get better. But at the same time, especially right now when we're in that 3-week window of the season starting, it's, I guess, kind of somewhat isolating ourselves to who we live with at home. Right now, my wife, my kids and I, we're in our pod, and talking with my dad about it this last week. He lives just on the other side of I-5. It's like, hey man, I love you, but we got to protect this bubble in our household. And so for each person outside of our bubble, we just got to be very, very smart with how we interact. And even for the guys here, if anyone does get sick, we got to prevent that thing from getting out of control. Because if you get sick with COVID, you're going to be out, a couple weeks. And even then, the heart testing and the build back up, especially for pitchers, is going to take more time as well. So this is a great opportunity for our guys to further their development and being selfless and doing the right thing, and also growing as an individual, saying all this other stuff could be a distraction. I can let it pull us apart and go down the wrong road, or, this is how big the plate is right now. The rules have been set, right? Now, granted, the rules change from day to day. We all know that. But if the plate's 17 inches and that's what the umpire's calling, then we need to be prepared to compete with that. Sometimes the plate maybe gets a little bit bigger, a little smaller. We have to adjust and follow the rules on what they are. So if you test positive right now, you're out, right, for a couple weeks. So our job then is to make sure that we put ourselves in the best situation to be competitive there and not test positive. And so that we're not spreading it to anyone else. I mean, you look at a lot of the guys that are are out there competing. It doesn't matter. Freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and you look at the draft eligible guys, you want them to have that opportunity to go out and win a World Series this year. You want them to have that opportunity to get a lot of looks and get drafted and play professionally. For the young guys, you look at a great opportunity. You want them to go out and have that freshman campaign to get the experience, to go out and help win games, you know. So there's not a guy in there that, talking with my wife and kids, that, you know, we're going to do everything in our power to do our part and to educate and make sure that everyone's safe, including Hank.
Have you guys dealt with a positive or contact tracing or anything in the fall or in the build up to camp with the the group workouts or anything like that?
So you said, did we have any?
Have you had any positive tests or any contact tracing protocols or anything? Have you dealt with that yet over the last few months?
Right. So most of our cases have come when the guys were at home. We were able to go through our whole fall without having any issues with COVID, and the numbers were low. When guys were coming back, we did have a few guys that had positive cases. So once they returned and they quarantined, we were able to catch it. And then, a handful of guys had to quarantine as well, but they all tested negative. So a few isolated incidences when they're at home. And that kind of taught us a lot about, while you are around other groups, when we're outside of our bubble, how that can be an issue. Not intentionally, no one's intentionally going to get sick. So it's more of, they feel very safe here, especially here in a college town, Corvallis. There's not as much, fluctuation. People running out. We all knew that when we were coming back to campus, there's going to be a whole bunch of students that went home, people coming back into the area, that there was going to be, some risk there. But right now, these guys are here to be better men, better students, better athletes, and they're very, bubbled in that as well.
Just to be clear, after fall and between then and when they came back to campus to get ready for the season is when you had the okay.
Yes. Yeah.
How often are you guys testing now? Is it daily? Is it semi-weekly?
We're doing PCR tests once a week. And so hard, you guys screen is down here, but I'm get the camera. It's interesting. I want to look at your faces. So we are doing PCR testing once a week, and that was like, again, we all woke up this morning, did this morning. That's for student athletes, that's for coaches, that's for managers. Anyone here at the facilities is going to be testing weekly.
Coach, you had 14 games in year one at the helm before COVID kind of made everything crazy. And I wouldn't say that this year is kind of a do-over in that respect, but what did you learn in that 14 game sample size there that maybe it was beneficial? You didn't have the full season to learn those things, and now you get to bring it into this year, a full year.
Yeah, you got video, Andrew?
Yeah, sorry, just dogs running around in the background here.
I love it. It's good. I got to see it though. Yeah, just making sure everyone's showing up with some, clothes on. The 14 game season, it actually taught us a lot. It built the hunger. I don't think that we have as productive as a summer as we did, or a fall, if the guys did not go through that bit of the season, experience that hardship, experience like what it feels like to go out and, you're playing a really good competition, no doubt about it, but how much it hurts you if you second guess yourself. So this was we had a virtual diamond dinner the other day. We had great turnout on it, the chance for everyone to meet the student athletes and hear a message from a handful of our speakers. But the big thing was knowing the Oregon State program. This family here is, hardship will come, but if you look at anything in Beaver's history, we always endure, we overcome, right? So in 2000, before 2005, everyone thought, man, what are the chances the Beavs ever, go to the College World Series? People doubted it. We made it happen. 05, we were 0-2 in the College World Series. We came back the next year, we responded and won the whole thing. 07, we did not have a great, regular season record, and we flipped the switch. We responded. Case call it how it is. He ain't doing it right now. How do you expect to get the job done? We responded. 17, that was a loaded squad. By not winning it all, they felt like they fell short, right? And the next year they respond, they come back, they win it all. I just believe that hardship is such a great thing for growth. And at that point, and the guys felt like they were ready to go down to Arizona and compete on a different level than what they had done thus far. But I really believe getting that, again, season cut short, they would not have been as productive in the summer and fall without experiencing that punch to the gut.
As a result, I mean, of what happened with the last season, you guys have so many guys who eligibility-wise are freshmen. How do you think kind of going forward that is going to help you build the program? It's nearly half your roster.
Is our freshmen? Half our roster is freshmen?
Maybe not half, but a good amount.
Yeah, I would say it's great to have youth, but it's also great to have older guys with leadership characteristics that have been going through this program for several years. So the buy-in of the older guys is extremely important. And I think if you go in our clubhouse, you're not going to see, you're not going to hear, hey, this guy's a freshman, this guy's a sophomore, this guy's a junior. And I think it's all one and the same. Once you show up here, you're part of the Beaver family. You're not pushed against because you're a young buck. You're expected to come in and contribute. And our older guys do a good job of onboarding the young guys and teaching their ways. And I think if you look at our freshman class, true freshman class, there's a lot of personality. There's a lot of leadership qualities in them as well. These guys have wanted to be here for a long time as well. I mean, I think when I talk to a guy like Garrett Forrester, I mean, he's had Beaver stuff hanging in his room since birth, and I think that has a lot to do with, it's a great thing to have some youth, and they have older guys. Andy Armstrong is returning now. He's been here for some time, and now these younger guys have a real good role model to look up to and see how to compete, see how to prepare, learn how to play catch on a day-to-day basis and maintain what it takes, to be productive at this level, but also, what it takes to go on and play 140, 150, 60, 70 games at a big league level. You have to be able to take care of all the other stuff off the field. So I think they have great leadership from our upperclassmen, but the freshman class is something to be really excited about.
Speaking of your upperclassmen, how's Kevin doing? Knowing that it's been a couple seasons now since he's gotten on the bump in a competitive Pac-12 game. He's had Tommy John a year or two ago. How's he hanging in, and what's his outlook for this year?
Kevin's doing really well. He's been progressing very nicely. He, like, stuff-wise, what's coming out of his hand, there's a lot to be excited for. He's physically in a great spot. Can you guys hold on 1 second? Hank, can you push pause or mute it for a second? Thanks. Just a second, guys.
Andrew, where's the dog at?
I finally got him tired out.
What kind is he?
He's a corgi.
Aw, he'll never be tired.
He was running around and being super ornery there for a second. I didn't want it to look like I was getting up and like moving around and doing things while Mitch was talking. And now he's asleep. Just so typical.
What a guy.
And we're back. Thanks,
We're
host.
back.
Hey, back to Kevin. Physically in a really good spot. He just threw live the other day and went several innings, breaking ball sharp. Obviously, if you ask any of the guys on our squad that face him, and I haven't even got to see that breaking ball face to face since I've been here too. So I'm good watching it from a different stance, not in the box, because that thing is a thick breaking ball, and his off speed, his changeup is really good as well. So exciting to see a guy like him back and healthy and go through the process and the hardship of doing that, but also to see another guy, like Mitch Verberg, who has had some health issues and really responded. And to watch him throw the other day in our scrimmage was exciting. Kind of an emotional day, watching those guys get back out there and face hitters again, and you see what kind of impact they're going to have on the group. That's exciting. So, Lord willing, everyone stays healthy. We get to go out there and compete, and you guys are going to get to see, if they let you in the stadium, you guys are going to get to see him live and in person, being competitive as he's always been.
Coach, you guys start the season 2 weeks from Friday. Are there any concerns regarding the fact that you haven't, competed as a team in almost a year?
No, I wouldn't say we have any concerns going into day one. I mean, you prepare as best you can. In the fall, we were out competing all the time. Any chance we had with a guy throwing, they could go out and throw a live inning, we were going to put hitters in the box and simulate as much competition as possible. We know everyone's kind of in the same bucket, right? They've didn't have a season. They didn't have much of a summer. He had to go out to different parts of the country and try to find a way to get some at bats or throw some innings. But at the same time, I felt we made the most out of the fall and getting competition going. It puts us in a really good spot. And the fact that our guys were staying healthy all through the fall allowed for that to happen. And, these guys have been really diligent with their lonely work, getting a lot of the extra stuff in on their own time. Only allowed so many hours to practice. But the lights are always on over at the stadium, and they have access to our facilities. And so these guys, when they have the opportunity, they're going to go over and get extra work in. So I think the preparation piece is there. It's just trusting it and going out and being able to execute.
Coach, who are your captains?
All of them. I think being a captain is, nothing that I personally go out and select people. I think it naturally happens. And I think in every different circumstance, someone else steps up. Some people are good at doing, some people are good at being vocal, some people are hybrids and can do both. But sometimes being a captain, there's even times, myself personally, where I'm not going to deliver the message to a certain individual or even a smaller group because it may be delivered better from someone else. So it's expected here that everyone has that opportunity. Everyone has that. You can't step in this clubhouse unless you're some type of leader and captain. And so we're developing that in everyone. There's a situation that arises, and instead of one person constantly being in charge of taking care of that, you also provide that as an opportunity for another guy to step up and handle it. Just like at bats, how's a guy supposed to get better on the baseball field in the box? He needs more at bats. So if we're working on developing more leaders, more captains, as an opportunity comes up, you pull a guy to the side, you educate him on it, and allow him to go out and attempt to lead in that circumstance. So I think I would say everybody has that opportunity. Everyone has taken part of that role in. Now, some guys you're going to see more than others. I think that comes from a lot of our upperclassmen. If it's a guy down in the bullpen, in the game, it's different too. Because in the game, you're going to have guys in the dugout, you're going to have some guys on the field, you're going to have guys in the bullpen. And there's guys in each of those buckets that I think people really listen to. I do think that the way Mitch Verberg goes about his business I think people look up to that. A guy like Brock Townsend, who's not a very vocal guy, but everyone sees him all the time working. I think that is part of being a captain and leading some of the guys. Behind the plate, I think all of our catchers do a fantastic job getting to know the pitchers, have great personality. It loosens up the environment and gets the best out of the guys out there as well. But as we all are, some days we're riding high, some days we start to feel a little low, and we need it. We need captains from the entirety of the group to keep us level-headed and keep the boat afloat. Especially with everything that's been going on this past year. Some days can be more difficult than others, and that's why you rely on the brother next to you to keep you in line, hold you accountable.
Would you say that your lineup and your roster is healthy right now, or are there any notable injuries right now?
Thinking through it. Now we're all in a good spot to start off the season. We had always you got some minor dings and stuff, but nothing to be overly concerned about. Our athletic trainer does a fantastic job taking care of the guys, notifying stuff early. And Lindsay, our strength coach, is doing a great job modifying workouts, making sure that guys are staying healthy. So they do a lot of reporting back to us. We're using our analytics squad as well to record jump scores and stuff from when they go work out. A lot of our measurements with their mobility is getting back to us as coaching staff. So we're, informed going into practice how hard we need to push guys and when we need to, pull back a little bit and give them some rest and recovery. So knock on wood, we're in a healthy spot right now, and we continue that trend to and through the season.
You talk about measurements of mobility. Is that something that you guys have been doing since you got here, or is that recent?
Yeah, no, it's been constantly developing. Obviously, when we got here, communication with all of our staff, our student athletes, anyone involved in this development process, I try to communicate quite a bit with them. Sitting down, having meetings, probably maybe sometimes too many meetings, but I like to over communicate things. So I empower our staff, and I want a ton of feedback on how our guys are doing. And really, when we have that kind of feedback, it prevents me from going out and talking too much, because I know that they have a great handle on where our student athletes are and what they're working on. So instead of me going out there, I already feel like I'm in the loop. I love it. I question them, and they go out and execute it, so that I really don't have to be a nag. I feel like I'm up to speed on everything. And part of our development as coaches is to be inquisitive and push each other to develop. And so I've always asked whether it's, Gibson or Dorr or Barney or, Davey, whoever, I'm asking them to go out and do some continued learning, to run some tests. And that's where we do our jump tests in the morning and in the weight room. We constantly are doing measurements and adjusting our guys' movement preps to make sure that their body is making the proper adjustments to stay healthy. And I think that's a big part. I've looked at, I guess, again, I don't want to jinx ourselves here, but it looks like, our injuries have through the fall and up to this point have been a lot lower than in the past, which is great.
Okay, anything else? Thank you, Coach.
That's all good. Great to see you guys' faces. Thanks for jumping in here. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks, Mitch.
One.
And we got Tyler McMahon. Sorry, you weren't muted yet, so we can say hi again.
Hi guys, Kyler McMahon here.
Hey, Kyler. I guess just how excited are you guys to, be back at this and have a season in sight?
Oh man, to have just a season in our reach is what we've all been dreaming on since the day we were told to get off the flight last year. We've been working hard since our season ended last year to get back and get into full swing and get everyone healthy, and we're on the right pace to get back at it and go dominate again in Arizona.
You were having such a good start to last season before things shut down. How do you kind of try to pick back up where you left off and keep that going
Yeah,
later?
the biggest thing is just mindset going into it. Last year was all about coming off a broken jaw and not being able to deal with what happened the year before and just go out last year and have fun. And so the same idea of what I have from last year is transferring into this year, and just go out and have fun and put in the work and know that my talent and what I've done so far is the process and everything is leading up to a great season ahead.
Mitch was talking about everybody's kind of had the same 10 months to get better and find ways to continue to progress. How did you go about that?
Yeah, the biggest thing was just maintaining just overall body, vision, mental side of it, whether that's meditation, working out with someone else on the team has helped a lot. Just being able to create a relationship that we've had for so long, but just keep that relationship through all the nonsense of COVID and everything going on. Just being able to kind of take your mind off of what's going on in society and taking it back into the focus of getting better each season, and looking forward to just getting back into Arizona and not worry about COVID too much. Obviously following all the protocols that we have here at Oregon State, but understanding that we're here to play and no distractions are going to get in the way for us to have a successful season.
What have you seen out of the team the first week of practice? What have you liked about what you've seen?
I love just the drive of everyone. Pitchers coming out and throwing strikes and doing what we're known to do from the past years. The intent of getting back on the field and wanting to get back into Arizona and start this thing up and play someone other than ourselves is what we've most been looking forward to. Yeah.
Kind of speaking of playing against your own guys, how has Kevin's stuff looked so far?
It's good. Jumping back in and from not seeing any live before winter break and then coming back and facing Kevin and Cooper for our first at bat was definitely a challenge, but those are the challenges that we're going to face every day, playing new teams with new pitchers that we haven't seen before coming in. So those challenges are what all of us hitters and pitchers like to face to get ready for the season and get ready for new opponents.
Are there any pitchers who, I mean, stuff wise, just look notably different or better than they were last year that you can think of?
Notably different, I wouldn't say there was one guy. I would say all of the guys on the pitching staff have made improvements, whether that's a tighter slider, more strikes with their off speed, locating their fastball better. And I wouldn't say there's one guy that has notably changed. I would say in all of them, they have all worked so hard on changing something to make them get back on the field and dominate for the guys.
You surprised that you guys aren't in the top 25, or at least a couple of the polls that I've seen, and does that matter to you?
No, none of that stuff matters to me. When it comes down to it, it's a bunch of random people putting together scores of what they think the team looks like when they're not out every day working with us and knowing what we got. So I think it's a bunch of nonsense that we don't need to pay attention to. And as long as we go out and we know that we have all the guys backing ourselves up, and we're gonna get it done. I don't care about the stats, the scores, the records, any of that stuff. What we did last year, none of it matters because it's a whole new season this year, and we're gonna go on and dominate like we've done in the past.
Kyler, was it challenging to stay motivated, I guess, and on track in the off season when you guys didn't have a schedule in front of you or an exact start date, where at the point it wasn't even sure if baseball was going to happen?
It was difficult just from coming off of COVID and seeing how much stuff has been shutting down, and not being sure whether we are going to have a season. But with the help and the optimism of all the coaches and all the players, we're excited to get back out, and we know that we have an opportunity ahead of us, and it's going to take a lot of work to get to that opportunity. And now we're just 16, 17 days out. It's in our hands. So now it's just making sure we're following all the protocols, not hanging out with random people, just doing our normal things that everyone's doing in society to stay safe, so then we can get back to a season.
Have you guys had conversations, I don't know, player to player or coaching staff to player, about being responsible, about personal accountability, and just what you talked about, kind of, staying in the bubble and not spreading your wings too much?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been preached since day one coming down here, especially after the winter break, we were told to come back after the new year, and then more things with COVID changed, and we had to end up coming back the 27th. So from that day on, we knew that there was going to be changes from day one, and we're just going to have to go with the flow of things. So when it came to finding out that we have a potential season coming up, that the motivation and all of that stuff was not a scare. We were ready to take it on, and we knew that as long as we did our own part of staying safe and just following normal societal rules of not being exposed to anyone that you're not in close proximity with, and just doing what we can for our brothers so we can all get back on the field and play.
Have you guys addressed the idea or the fact that you could possibly go all the way to Arizona and one of your games could get canceled, or you could play a game the next day might not happen because of the protocols?
No, that's not on our minds at all. It's come down to we've gotten this close, and we're going to still continue to work until the day that we are on the field. And if it gets cut, it gets cut. But our whole goal is to play out the whole season and get to Omaha, win Omaha, and do it again next year. So no, there's no part of us that is expecting to cut the season short or not play a game. We know that teams will have random COVID checks come up and may not be able to get a series in here and there, but we'll find a way to get the games up.
And on a more positive note, what do you think it's going to be like stepping on the field on the 19th against another team in a uniform playing a real live game?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't even put it into words right now because it feels like it's been so long since we've been out together and playing someone new. Just pure excitement, just seeing what we can really do together as a team, and know that everyone has our back, and whether we have the 2,000 fans that we normally do down in Arizona or not, either way, we're going to go out and we're going to play for our families and our brothers and the people in Beaver Nation especially.
Anything else? Thank you, Kyler.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Skyler.
Yeah, everyone, we have Andy Armstrong. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Hey, Andy, same thing I asked Kyler. Just how nice is it to have a schedule and have baseball on the horizon and be back at this?
It's amazing, like Kyler said, it's been a while since we've got to suit up against a different team. It's exciting to get the opportunity to get down there and start getting after it. That's why you play the game, you go down and suit up against a different team. So I think we're all ready and excited to do that.
Were there points of the last few months when you thought that you wouldn't get this moment, that you wouldn't be back?
I don't know. I think personally and speaking for the team, we all just took each day one at a time, did what we could each day to get better. All that other stuff, when we're going to have a season, all those external things that we have no control over, we tried to block out, and I think we did a good job of that. And I think that's all we can do in a situation like this.
I mean, was it difficult for you as a guy who's put so many years in this program to have that be so out of your control and probably just want to be back on the field playing baseball?
Yeah, I mean, my time here, there's been a lot of different ups and downs and different challenges that come with it, I think this is just another one of them. It's obviously a huge deal. It's affected everyone on this planet virtually. And I mean, it's something we got to deal with. And I think that we've all done a good job of that.
What do you like most about this team and this team's potential?
I like the fact that we have everyone, the chemistry on this team is something different. Obviously in 2018, we had great team chemistry. You could compare this team to that one as far as our closeness and stuff like that. So I love the guys in that locker room. I think we call ourselves brothers, and that's because we are.
Obviously, the Santa Barbara series last March was something that I'm sure wasn't a lot of fun at the time, but how important do you think that was as a growing thing for you guys to kind of go through something like that with such a young team and, I don't know, get it out of the way?
Just learning experience, we learn from it and we flush it, and that's all we really did there.
Andy, what do you think it's going to feel like when you step on the field on the 19th against another team in a jersey, ready to play a real live game for the first time in a very long time?
It's going to feel good, especially getting on that, that grass, that real surface, and under hopefully some warmer weather, and going out and playing the game we all love. So it'll be an amazing time.
Anything else, Randy? Thank you.
Thanks, Andy.
Please go right ahead.
Kevin, how excited are you just to get to Arizona and start playing some baseball again?
Very excited. Got a lot of the same feelings as I did in 2018 playing college baseball for the first time. So I'm ready to do it. It's been too long.
Yeah, I mean, it's been so long since you've gotten a pitch in a live game. What do you think those emotions are going to be like when you get back out there?
Yeah, like I said, it's just opening. I mean, it's going to feel like that first opening day. There's going to be that anxiousness, that those butterflies in your stomach. But after that first pitch goes, everything goes out the window, and it's down to business, something I've done my whole life. And those are good feelings to have. It means you care, and it means you want to do well and you want to succeed. And I think we're more than prepared to take on this season and be successful.
What have you liked out of the first week of practices so far?
Pardon?
What have you liked most about what you've seen so far through the first week of practice?
Gotcha. It's just everyone's been having fun. It really feels like things are back to normal when we're out here, even though we're wearing masks and following all the protocols. But we're just playing baseball. Like, it's really our only concern, and it's been just a lot of fun to play and just see everyone's faces again out on the field, and we're just excited.
Can you paint a picture for us? It's kind of hard for me to, like, do you guys wear masks in the dugout? Do you wear masks on the field? Do you, obviously in the clubhouse you do, but just lead us through the whole protocols and all that.
The only time you don't have to wear a mask are if you're on the mound, or if like you're shagging BP and you are all off on, all by yourself in the outfield. Otherwise you are wearing a mask. And right after I get off the mound and I go back to the dugout, I put on a mask. So it's definitely not an issue. We've been doing it for a long time now. We work out in masks, so it's not a problem.
But so if you're, so the 9 guys in the field, if you're playing, you don't wear masks, practice?
No, I believe they do. I don't really know what the position. I just know for myself personally, if I'm on the mound throwing, I do not have to wear one. But when I go back in the dugout, I do. I think they do as well. But
they do. Okay.
Do you feel like you're all the way back recovery wise? Do you feel like you have your same stuff that you did in 2018?
Better. Feel better than I did in 2018.
Would you say this extended time off helps you get better and stronger than you were in 2018?
Yeah. I'm another year older. I'm able to hit the weight room for another 8 months or whatever that I got to, instead of coming back. And it's just followed the natural progression of an off season for me and getting ready for this one.
When you say better, is that all your pitches? Is it velo? Is it just your feel for your pitches, or is it all the above?
All the above.
Was it hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel and stay positive and focused in the off season when you guys didn't have a hard schedule in front of you and kind of knew when baseball was actually going to happen?
No, we all have a purpose here, and it's to get better at what we do. And whether we were gonna have a season or not, we knew we were gonna. If there was no season, we would put ourselves in a bubble and we would scrimmage against each other as much as we could until we got told we weren't allowed to. So, and I think we care more about what we think of each other than what other people think. So it'd be a lot more fun and competitive if we just did that. But there's always just work towards that goal of just being the best baseball player you can, being the best man you can. And so with that goal in mind and that kind of mindset, it's really easy to show up every day and get the most out of it.
I know you don't care about polls and all that stuff. It's what you've said in the past. It's weird not seeing you guys in the top 25 and I guess quote unquote being an underdog. What do you like about that role?
I guess people would underestimate us, but I don't see how you can do that. It's Oregon State. So it'll be fun to have everyone realize that we have the best pitching staff in the country and the best lineup in the country and best team in the country. So we'll see who's at number 1 in June.
Anything else for Kevin? Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, guys.
All right, last but not least, we have Jake Mulholland. When you're ready, please go ahead.
Hello.
Jake, just how exciting is it to be back out there and I mean, have this Arizona opener on the horizon?
It's really exciting. You know, that's one of the best tournaments that we get to go on. We get to start our year off in Arizona in the heat, the sunshine, and we get to play in front of a bunch of great fans. Can't really ask for much more than that.
Kind of stuff-wise, how do you feel you are right now in terms of like having such a long layoff? Do you feel like you go out there and pitch a game tomorrow, or is it still a little bit of build-up coming?
Yeah, I feel ready. I think right now I'm in the best pitching shape of my life, so I'm excited to go out there this year.
What do you like about being back at the back end in the closer role there, or back in the pen?
It's fun. You know, for me, it really doesn't matter what role I go into. All I can do is give my best effort in everything that I do, no matter where, if that's starting a game, coming into the 3rd, 4th, 5th inning, or closing a game. You know, but it is always fun getting to make that last out. I'll say that.
When you look at the COVID testing and all that, and just, you know, one positive could shut it all down or at least delay things, I wonder how much of that is on the players and personal responsibility, and how do you guys approach, you know, the way that you're living outside away from the baseball diamond?
Yeah, a ton. I mean, we're all men here, and we're treated like men. So that means personal responsibility. And if guys, you know, want to make bad decisions, they can do that. But all of us here, we owe it to ourselves and to our teammates and to Beaver Nation to make sure that we're smart. And we've done a really good job of that so far. So, you know, we know what we have in front of us, and we're all trying to, you know, make the best of it and be really smart.
I guess how different does it feel going through this preseason compared to, I guess, what you would call a typical year? Does it feel vastly different with the mask and everything, or is it just not that big of a deal anymore?
No, it's not a big deal anymore. You know, a little bit of an adjustment period at the beginning, but now we're used to it, so it really doesn't matter.
What do you like most about this team and your guys' potential?
I love how close we are. I love the team chemistry. I know you've heard that from the other guys who spoke, but it's true. You can't make that stuff up. This is my 5th year now, and this is right there with the 2018 team. I think that was the closest team we've had. And what Kevin and Andy and Kyler were saying is true. This team's really close.
Can you kind of put into words why that is? What makes this team different?
Well, I think maybe COVID had something to do with that. You know, we were all kind of put into a situation together that we didn't have control over, and all we could really do is figure out how we wanted to respond to that. And we decided that we were going to stay in our bubble, hang out with our guys on the team, not go out and make stupid decisions. And I think that just made everyone a little bit closer and kind of gave us all a purpose.
Was it hard to stay in that bubble mindset and kind of buy into the entire mindset of having to be together when you didn't even know if you were going to have a season looking back at the fall?
No, because we had, you know, 35 other guys that were all doing the same exact thing. So when you have people to hold you accountable, it makes it really easy. I know that, you know, the guys behind me have my back, and they know I have theirs. So if someone slips up, we're going to pick them up. And that goes with anything that we do. So if we don't know we're going to have a season, well, we're still going to, you know, give it the best day we have, and we're going to give it our best effort and get better. And that's it.
How would you describe what Troy brings behind the plate?
Confidence. to all the pitchers and everyone out there. He's really good at helping guys know when to speed up and know when to slow them down. He knows how to take control of a situation. He knows how to leave you alone if you're in the zone, and he knows how to get you back into the zone if you get out of it. So he's a great leader, and he knows what he's doing, and we're all really fortunate to be able to throw to him.
How difficult was your decision to come back to Oregon State when you're kind of factoring in the condensed draft and there may not be a college baseball season and it's probably a million things going through your mind at once?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been a tough decision of what you want to do, but the most important thing is once you make that decision, you don't look back. And so I made the decision to come back, and I was fully invested in the season. Being a Beaver again, it's really easy to stay around here because it's an amazing place with amazing people. I feel like I get better here, and so for me, it wasn't that tough to want to come back. I can do more baseball later on, but right now I'm in an Oregon State uniform, and so that's the only thing that my mind's on.
How excited are you to step on the field in a couple of weeks wearing a uniform against another team in a real live game situation?
Yeah, I can't wait. I mean, we're all a bunch of really competitive guys here, and we've all been having to basically just face each other for the last however long it's been. Feels like forever. So, just getting to face someone with a different uniform is going to be really exciting.
Anything else for Jake? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Jake. Thanks, Hank.
Thanks, Hank.